Hey, and welcome to another episode of Rankum. It's got a very fun episode here today. In conjunction with the release of Uncut Gems, which apparently is really good. I don't know. I haven't seen it. I don't know, but Adam Sandler's getting a lot of buzz for this movie, so I thought we'll do Adam Sandler movies. And got a great panel of guests. Got Nicholas Turek here. Nicholas, how's it going?
It's going very well. I'm very excited to be here on this panel. Malcolm asked me if I wanted to. I said, of course not. Who would say no to this? But apparently there were a lot of people that did not want to do this. This man is a genius. Absolute genius. Makes billions of dollars to go on vacation. He just brings a camera with him. So he's a hero. I'm very excited.
And also, it's been a while since you've seen him on a Take-Free video, but it's Chris Stoneman. Chris, how's it going?
Very well, very well. So first off, ladies and gentlemen, how's everyone doing? I apologize for my voice, but as Mr. Two-Week can attest to, we were both that spectacular last night, and my voice is still a little shot. So you'll have to forgive me if I'm a little rusty tonight.
But yeah, so the way this works, we're going to do a roundtable discussion. We're going to each throw out an Adam Sandler movie we think belongs on this list. And everyone else says yes or no to whether it belongs. And yeah, and then at the end we rank them from 12 to 1. Chris, what is the first movie you're going to bring up?
Well, first one I'm going to bring up is obviously the what I would consider the best Adam Sandler movie, that being the 2002 film Punch Drunk Love, aka the one time he truly committed to a dramatic role and it paid off awesomely. It's his best work. I will not back down on that opinion.
Punch Drunk Love is on the table. Nick, what do you say about Punch Drunk Love?
I would have some things to say. They may differ in opinion from my friend Chris here. Not totally. Like, it's definitely one of his best works. I just wouldn't call it undoubtedly the best. Yes, I agree. I hear Uncut Gems is very similar to him, sort of taking a foray into something different, which is something I've always said he should do. I love his comedies. Some of his comedies I think are some of the best comedies of all time, and we'll get to them later. But the potential this dude has that I wish he would explore more. I think he's finally starting to do that. And you're right, Chris. Punch Drunk Love was one of those times. So yes, I think it does get a spot.
And yeah, I would have easily said yes to Punch Drunk Love as well. I think this is a great movie. Nick, what's the first one you're going to bring up?
Well, Malcolm, every time I've been on the show, which is once so far, I usually start out with like a nice Hail Mary. I'm not going to do that today because I got a feeling we're going to get to a couple Hail Marys later because we're going to run out of options. So I'm going to start with one of the aforementioned greatest comedies of all time, and that would be Eeny, Meeny, Miny. Let's go with Happy Gilmore. Happy Gilmore, I believe, is an absolute classic. So quotable, so memorable, so rewatchable, and honestly still holds up to being very funny and reminds me of what Adam Sandler can be and what I hope one day he becomes again. But Happy Gilmore.
So Happy Gilmore is on the table. I'm going to go ahead and say I'm not a big fan of Happy Gilmore. I think it's good, but I don't personally have him in my top 12. But it's why it's not just a two-person panel. Chris, what do you say about Happy Gilmore?
This is probably one of, if not Adam Sandler's funniest films. And it's not just him who brings the laughs. It's also Richard Kiel as his former boss, the big tall guy who intimidates Christopher McDonald. And Christopher McDonald is hilarious as Shooter McGavin. Bob Barker has his glorious sequence in the film. And honestly, there's so many great moments from this film, be on the ninth green at 9 o'clock. Or, everything involving the guy who just shouts, "Jackass!" Come on.
In the hips. You're too good for your home.
Exactly. And just, and of course, Chubbs. Everyone, take a drink for Chubbs.
For Chubbs.
So, yeah, no, this is definitely, no question, this is in the conversation.
But Happy Gilmore does make the list. The first one I'm going to throw out there is I'm going to throw out the movie Funny People. This is one about the life of a dying stand-up comedian. This is a interesting kind of movie but I think that all the performance in this is great. I think Seth Rogen does play a good role. But yeah, Funny People's on the table. Chris, what do you say about it?
I am not going to say no to that, actually. Yeah, nope. It gets in. It's probably one of the more underappreciated Apatow films. Yeah, like you said, Sandler and Rogen are both pretty funny in it. The Ray Romano bit still gets me quite a bit. Yeah, nope. I got no arguments. It's in.
Nick, what would you have said about Funny People?
I probably am one of those people that underappreciates it a little bit, but to me, I appreciate it just the right amount. I had it like towards the lower half of my 12, maybe even on the cusp, 13, 14. To me, it's just a movie that doesn't really know what it wants to be. Like, you can be a comedy and a drama at the same time, and that's what this tries to do, but there's often times where it sort of loses one aspect in favor of the other.
Right.
By the end, it's really long. That's like, I rewatched it recently. It is very long. Just it feels very long anyway. So it's got its problems, but that is not a unique quality when talking about Adam Sandler movies. So sure, Funny People.
But Chris, we go back to you for your next nomination.
Absolutely. I'm actually going to go to a very early example of Sandler not being the star per se, but being part of 3 stars of this movie. And I am, of course, talking about 1994's Airheads. Him, Brendan Fraser, Steve Buscemi. They're just a rock band who want to get their song on the radio, and they will do the comedy version of Die Hard to make it happen. This movie is super underrated. I love this little gem from the 90s. Y'all, if you haven't seen it, watch it. It's awesome.
Nick, what do you say about Airheads? I say that's good advice, Chris, because I have not seen it, but I do enjoy your description of it, and now I'm kind of interested. But now just one I missed, so I cannot give it a yes, unfortunately.
Yeah, unfortunately, I haven't seen this either, so sad that Airheads does miss the list. But yeah, Nick, we go back to you for your next nomination.
Let's dip a toe into Adam Sandler's foray into romantic comedy, shall we? He did well like once or twice, and then he really didn't do very well anymore. But I'm gonna pick my favorite rom-com of his is actually 50 First Dates. So him and Drew Barrymore, I think, are a power couple until you get to one movie that I hope doesn't get brought up, but it might. But this movie's actually really endearing. It's really interesting. There's some iffy parts on rewatch, like his assistant has some cringy parts. Sean Astin, not the greatest. There's problems with it, but at the end of the day, like it actually is very heartfelt. Forgetful Lucy is a great song. Really tugs at the emotions, and I think there's enough comedy in it to make this a pretty good movie. So 50 First Dates for your consideration.
Yeah, I love 50 First Dates. It's an easy yes for me. Chris, what do you say about?
So Sean Astin, as much as I love him, is the reason I can't stand this movie. But I'm okay with this making the list because at least there's still some redeeming qualities to it. So as long as we can keep this in the bottom half, I'll forgive if this one making the list.
I'll take it.
Sweet.
But for my next nomination, I'm going to
here it comes.
I'm going to bring up one of his probably more recent endeavors, and one of the first ones that he and one of the most recent ones that he did for Netflix. I'm bringing up the Myra Stories. This was a movie I didn't know what to expect because ever since he's announced this deal that he's going to go more to do Netflix exclusives a lot with Netflix and all that. I thought, oh yeah, this is probably going to be a load of bollocks. I watched it and I enjoyed it. Him and Ben Stiller are great in this. And both of them really shine in the dramatic side of things. Even Ben Stiller's been shining in drama more now as well. But this is just a great movie. And it's easily one of the better ones that is on Netflix from Adam Sandler. But Chris, what do you say about the Meyerowitz stories?
So I never actually finished watching this. I got about halfway in, and then unfortunately I just ran out of time to finish it, and I just never went back. But the parts I did watch, I liked it, but I'm still gonna retract from giving this an official yes or no because I never finished it.
Yep, that's it. Nick, what do you say about the Meyerowitz stories?
So I'm a busy man, Malcolm. And Adam Sandler comes out and he says, look, I'm starting this whole thing with Netflix. Got a couple movie deals coming out. You're going to see a couple movies from me. Here's my first one, Ridiculous 6. And so I watched the Ridiculous 6 and I was like, I am never giving you any of my attention any again. So while I heard great things about the Meyerowitz stories, he was actually getting some awards buzz around the time. Never watched it. So sorry.
That's fair. But Chris, we go back to you for your next nomination.
All right. So you start talking about Adam Sandler rom-coms, and for me, Nick started talking about Adam Sandler rom-coms, I think. And for me, this is his best, which also stars Drew Barrymore, and it's The Wedding Singer. I love the songs. I love the cameos. I love the soundtrack in general. Hell, you got Billy Idol in this thing. This movie is awesome. And somebody kill me, please. I'm on my knees. Pretty please. Kill me. I want to die. That's what my voice is feeling like right now. And that's why I'm asking, please, just say yes to The Wedding Singer.
Nick, what do you say about The Wedding Singer?
So while I will admit it is not my favorite collaboration between Drew Barrymore and Adam Sandler, I've got a guitar over in the corner right here. I learned how to play Grow Old with You because it is such a great song. And the movie in general, you're right, is very, very heartfelt, very funny parts. Again, some cringy moments that you forget of. The good part about the cringy moments in these movies is you really kind of forget about them until you go back and watch. Like other movies have that problem where those are all that sticks out, but like in The Wedding Singer, like you don't remember the cringy parts till you go back and watch it. So overall, Wedding Singer is probably my second favorite Adam Sandler rom-com. But of course, that gets a yes.
And Wedding Singer would have been a yes for me too. This is one that I remember not liking when it first came out. I remember watching it. It's like, what this? I gave it a rewatch last year when I started doing a whole Adam Sandler movie binge and just watch all his movies. I actually enjoyed it a lot more from when I first watched it. It was like, I don't know, I can't explain why I didn't like it the first time I saw it, but I mean, I do like it now, and I would suggest it anyway. But Nick, what's the next movie you're going to bring up?
All right. We are saying yes to a lot of things. So before we take off and leave the greats in the dust, we're going to bring up The Waterboy. The Waterboy is one of those movies I used to just like watch to fall asleep at night. Not in a bad way, but like I just felt so comforted by watching The Waterboy. It's so funny. It's so, again, quotable. It's so memorable. I think it still holds up. And it's one of my favorite comedies of all time. So The Waterboy, brought to you by Jackson's Bayou.
Chris, what do you say about The Waterboy?
Malcolm, would you go first, please?
Okay. But yeah, The Waterboy is and I think me and Chris are probably going to have similar opinions on this. I do not know who he's going with this, but this is one that I had the opposite reaction to. I remember liking it when I first saw it, but over time, I think it just gradually got ridiculous. I do not know sort of where it changed. It just started not like it. I'm actually going to give this a no. So, Chris, what? Go ahead.
And yet, so Nick, you bring up cringy moments.
Oh no.
And for me, unfortunately, yeah, sorry for the voice crack there, guys. Make a meme of that, there, please, by all means. I'll say that the cringy moments are all that stick with me when I think of this movie.
Okay.
I think of how stupidly over the top Kathy Bates is. I think of how stupidly over the top Henry Winkler is. Of course, I think of "You Can Do It" and how it's overused
That one I'll give
in
you.
this film. Because I like Rob Schneider when he does that usually, but again, it's just one too many times in this
I
movie.
agree. I'll give you that.
And yet, I'm gonna give it the yes.
Come on.
But it's not gonna make it past. It's not gonna make it into the actual top 10 for
We'll
this
see
list.
if I have anything to say about that. Kathy Bates deserved an Oscar for that role. Anyway, next.
But it's back to me, and I'm going to go for another one of his rom-coms. I'm going to go for well, actually, I don't know if this is more rom-com or more drama, but it's Spanglish is the movie I'm going to bring out. But this is a movie that I enjoyed. This is one that I hadn't seen before, and I actually watched it for the first time last year, and it's just one that stuck with me. And it's one of those ones that I don't remember a lot of this. I'm actually really bad at remembering stuff about movies anyway. But Spanglish is one that I do remember enjoying. I can't remember who his female co-stars is. I want to say it's T. Leone.
Yep, Leone.
But the relationship between both of them just was really on point. I think Spanglish is a great movie. I think it belongs in the top 12. Chris, what do you say about Spanglish?
I just think there are better movies that he's been in where I'm not trying to say that Spanglish is bad, but I've seen this movie twice, and it's for me, it's one of the most forgettable Sandler movies. Like, I respect it for what it's trying to do, but it just never compels me for anything. So unfortunately, I have to give it a no.
No, that's fair. Nick, what do you say about Spanglish?
I think I've seen this before, but you're right, Chris. I forget. I might not have seen this, so I can't give it a yes. I don't remember it. I may or may not have seen it. Like, in all honesty, I can't remember.
Yeah, no, that's fair. If you've seen it, you can't vote on it. So, Chris, what's the next movie you're going to bring up?
So I am going to go back to the dramatic well one more time for honestly one of the more heartbreaking performances I've seen Sandler give, and that is Reign Over Me. Oh, funny enough, I was actually thinking about this very movie when I was in New York earlier this year for Schmodown, and I walked up to the 9/11 memorial, and I just remember, thinking like, God, what would that event and someone who lost all their family in said event, like what would happen to them? And I think Sandler, while at times going a little over the top, gave I'd say a good idea of what kind of damage such a tragic event could cause you. So I really admire this movie for what it tries to do. And Don Cheadle is also awesome, as always.
Nick, what do you say about Reign Over Me?
Wow. You say a lot of endearing things. I don't think I've ever heard of this movie. He did a movie about a family member of a 9/11 victim?
Well, it's not a biopic, but yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I will go watch it, but I'm sorry. I feel like I've never heard of this.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
This is what I've heard of. I just never seen. Because it's been one that I've been wanting to watch ever since I heard of what it was about. As like I have to say, it just haven't come to a streaming service, and we don't have any video stores over here anymore to actually go buy movies out. So it's a lot harder. But
is it like dramatic or kind of like?
It's
Yeah.
dramatic.
Yeah.
All right, I'll give it a look.
I think a comedy about 9/11 may not fly anymore. At all.
Well, that's a good point. Yeah.
Nick, what's the next movie you're going to bring up?
The next movie, I think I'll go into another one of his really underappreciated dramatic roles, and that is Billy Madison. Billy Madison, I got a bad feeling you guys feel it similarly to this as you did about The Waterboy, but here we go. Ridiculous concept, ridiculous premise, and yet you're still laughing the whole time. O'Doyle rules. I'll turn this damn bus around. Tell me you don't know where those quotes are from. You do, because it's a memorable movie and it's funny. Great cameo from Chris Farley. I don't like the looks on your faces.
I mean, it's going to be yes for me. Billy Madison is probably one of the favorite of his early stuff, and it's not to say that his early stuff is bad. It's just try to rewatch some of his early stuff now. It's hard because of how dated some of the jokes can be. And well, yes, I'm not saying that dated is necessarily a bad thing when it comes to movies. But a lot of the, because I mean, just about every 90s comedy has that, whether it's Adam Sandler or not, there's always going to be moments in which do not work again in this day and age. But Billy Madison's going to make it. And Chris, what do you have to say about it?
Well, Billy Madison, you tried. I hate this movie. I actually hate it.
Oh, that's okay.
So Malcolm, bless you for putting it on the list. Because look, I'm not saying this doesn't earn a spot on the list. I'm saying it does.
Oh, interesting.
But I can't freaking stand this thing. At all. Although I will say this movie did inspire Tough Beats to give us their great final entrance against 6 Degrees. So thank you for that song.
Hey kids, but you thought I was dead. You guys have 7 so far on the list?
We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yep.
Cool.
Yeah. All right, that's back to me for my next nomination, and I'm going to go for one of his animated movies that he's been in.
Please pick the right one.
And I'm going to go for probably not the right one, but this is one of my personal favorite animated movies. I'm good, and it's a good pleasure of mine. It's 8 Crazy Nights. I'm going to go for. This is one that is a guilty pleasure for me. I was probably part of the reason that 8 Crazy Nights actually made it into the holiday movies bracket. But this is just a fun movie with Adam Sandler playing many different roles. Well, yeah, it just does. The comedy is work, and I sense there's a rant coming, but. Nick, what do you say about 8 Crazy Nights?
Oh, we're going to me first? Great. So, I've seen the little Nickies. I've seen the grown-ups 2s. I've seen the lowest of the low, the garbage Adam Sandler. Never seen 8 Crazy Nights. But if Jack and Jill is any indication of what happens when Adam Sandler plays multiple roles, then I don't think I ever need to see it. So I think we're okay.
Let it rip, Chris.
Ladies and gentlemen, to quote my weekly show, grab your popcorn and grab your drinks because it's rant time. Now, there's nothing more frustrating than when a movie has all the potential in the world to actually be great. Honestly, the animation in this thing is top notch. This is honestly one of the best animated films, 2D style of the 2000s. Hell, I think a lot of the music is great. I like a lot of the shots and angles are great. I even like the story of this movie. But the simple fact is, Adam Sandler goes so far out of his way to intentionally make the most annoying voices possible. Imagine if my sick voice was turned up about 2 octaves. That's Whitey and his wife. Or his sister, sorry. That's Whitey and his sister that Adam Sandler plays. And then Adam Sandler's character himself, what's his name? Sonny or something like that.
Davey.
Sorry?
Davey.
Oh, Davey. Right, my apologies. Single-handedly, one of the most irredeemable characters Sandler's ever played. Because at least with most of the characters that he plays, there's an element of forgiveness for why sometimes they act so shitty. That doesn't exist for this movie. And screw this movie because it should have worked and it didn't.
But anyway, Chris, we go back to you for your next nomination.
Oh, don't worry. I'm sure I'll get a little bit of rant back in my face because I'm going to go for a movie that I actually love, even though I know I shouldn't. It's Little Nicky. You got Harvey Keitel as the devil, and he's awesome. You got Reese Ifans as Little Nicky's older brother, and he's awesome. You have Ronnie Dangerfield as Lucifer, and he's awesome. And Hitler gets a pineapple shoved up his ass at 4:30 every day, and it's hilarious. Now, the cringy moments of this movie are especially cringy, and don't get me started on Quentin Tarantino as the priest, but yet that's why I love this movie. This is the one time where Adam Sandler cringe makes me laugh. Otherwise, I got nothing else. So if this gets a no, I don't blame you guys.
Nick, what do you say about Little Nicky?
So oddly enough, this movie's sort of in that cusp conversation with funny people that I mentioned earlier. It is not totally out of the conversation here. I think there's other Adam Sandler movies that are so bad that they become kind of funny that are a little bit better than this one. I've got it at about number 15, which just kind of shows you the crap that this was made of. But I don't think I can do it. Sorry, Chris. Let's see. Maybe Malcolm can.
Yeah, if I had a pair of black glasses, they will be on my face right there. I do not like Little Nicky. It is really, really ridiculously boring, and I'd find it really unfunny. If it was a choice between rewatching Jack and Jill and Little Nicky, I'll put Jack and Jill over this.
Wow.
So yeah, it's a hell no for me. There's no way Little Nicky's making this list. Nick, what's the next movie you're going to bring up?
Do we still only have 7?
Yeah.
All right, we have slowed down. Let's see here. I think I'm going to make a genuine play for his remake of The Longest Yard. I'm sure the original is better. However, really great performances in this movie. Burt Reynolds is great. William Fichtner is great. James Cromwell is great. Adam Sandler has some dramatic, great moments. It's not really funny, but I don't think it's supposed to be. I think it's supposed to be first and foremost a sports movie. There are times where he tries to be funny, and it's some of that cringe we've been talking about, but it's got it a lot less than other movies. And it's based on a story that is a really endearing story. So he couldn't mess that up. And yeah, Chris Rock's great. There's actually some really good stuff in this movie. So I think The Longest Yard should be no question. But you may have questions.
I mean, I like The Longest Yard. I think it's probably one of the best remakes out there. And honestly, that's not saying a lot. But yeah. And I'm with you. I don't think it's supposed to be a comedy. I think it's more supposed to be like a dramedy or something to that extent. But yeah, I'm going to say it's The Longest Yard. Chris, what do you say about The Longest Yard?
I mean, I don't have a particular attachment to either version, but yeah, I actually do like The Longest Yard. I think it is also one of the better remakes. I will admit, I think it goes a little too far with that infamous nut shot that they borrow from the original, but hey, It's fine. It's still very funny. It's still very good. Yeah, no, I'm not opposed. Let's do it.
Sweet.
But yeah, it's back to me, and I'm going to try for Hotel Transylvania 2. And I still haven't got around to seeing the third one yet, but so I don't know if it's better. But I do know that I really enjoyed number 2 over the first one. And Adam Sandler is great in these movies in general. And it's one of those ones that all the supporting cast was, I think it's got Selena Gomez in there as his daughter, a lot of his usual suspects as some of the other monsters, but yeah, I think Hotel Transylvania 2 should make the list, or at least one of them should. Chris, what do you say about Hotel Transylvania 2?
Yeah, finally got the right answer. Yeah, no, I honestly think that the first 2 Hotel Transylvanias are severely underappreciated. Jenny Tartakovsky does an incredible job with all these films, and in particular the second one, because we're essentially doing, the kids from the first one who wanted to get married. They, got married, obviously, and now they have children of their own, and it's really awesome to see Sandler in a role where he has to take on the responsibility of where does he fit into the picture of his daughter's life now being a grandfather, where she has to take care of her own family. And yeah, the animation, as I've already mentioned, it's superb. It's Tartakovsky. He literally can't mess up. So
yeah. And I can't remember which one I think is the third one, but Mel Brooks as Sandler's father is an interesting casting choice.
It's pretty awesome.
But Nick, what do you say about Hotel Transylvania 2?
I say the trailers looked great. And that's it. They came out at a time where I kind of had to pick and choose what I was seeing because I was really busy. And I just never got around to them. So never seen the Hotel Transylvanias. They don't really pique my interest. Maybe when I have kids one day, I'll show them to them. But in the meantime, I'm a little busy watching Little Nicky and Jack and Jill.
But we've got 3 spots remaining.
Yep.
Chris, what is the next movie you're going to bring up?
Oh, yeah, because now we're starting to run out of the good stuff, unfortunately. But I am gonna go to screw it. Let's just put our chips on the line. Anger Management. It's Adam Sandler, Jack Nicholson, and you'd think that it's supposed to be Jack who's supposed to be the one who's supposed to be the quote unquote angry one the entire time, and that's just a giant shouting match. But no, I like that both have to at least attempt to be a little bit reserved throughout pieces of the movie until, of course, they get to have their explosions, and it's great because that's what we want to see Jack Nicholson and Adam Sandler do. So, do all the lines work? No. Is there cringe? Yeah. But do I think it's still worth it as a movie? Yeah.
Nick, what do you say about Anger Management?
So we got 3 spots left, and I got 4 movies I would want to put on the list still. I remember seeing Anger Management when I was very young, and this movie made 0 sense to me, even as a younger person. I was like, what is the point of what is going on? As an older gentleman as I am today, I can say that I actually think this movie has a decently good message about anger and what it means to be angry and how there are different types of anger and how it's healthy to express your anger. I think it actually has something decent to say. I don't think there's a single moment where I laughed throughout this entire movie, but you're right. I do like Jack Nicholson and Adam Sandler together. I think they're doing what they're good at, and they're not doing exactly what you'd expect. I think the John C. Reilly cameo is actually amazing. And Goose Frabo, ladies and gentlemen, let's do it. Let's put it on the list.
Yeah, and I really love anger management. This is definitely in my personal top 10 of Adam Sandler's movies. And one of my favorite scenes is when Jack Nicholson just stops the car in the middle of the bridge and just forces at Sandler to sing "I Feel Pretty" on the freeway while all the cars are just going past. It's just one of those scenes in which is as ridiculous as hell because there's no way you just stop on the freeway just without getting in trouble for the law. But yeah, anger management makes the list. Nick, what's your next nomination?
Oh, I think I'm going to make an argument for Click. Now, Click sort of has the same problem that Funny People does for me, in that it's not really too sure what it wants to be, and a lot of the funny parts don't exactly come across that way. But if for nothing other than, I think Click has the best. Like, it wasn't Punch Drunk Love that made me go, oh my god, this dude's got acting chops. It was one of the last scenes in Click where like he's dying out in the rain. Like that's where I saw acting chops from this dude. So on top of that, like anger management, has a really great message about spending time with family versus work. You know, that old Cats in the Cradle song. That's a very good message. I think it has. Again, I understand, but again, we are reaching. So we're running out of options here. A lot of the funny moments don't land. David Hasselhoff's a little very odd, not a little, very odd in this movie. So yeah, Click. Let's see what you got.
Yeah, I do love Click. I do think it's a great movie. I'm gonna say no because there's a few that's sort of still in the top part of my personal rankings. I think is better than Click. But but Chris could get on the list. Chris, what do you say about Click?
No. No.
A great ending does not a good movie make.
It wasn't even the ending, too. So I see what you mean.
Yeah. No, like honestly, everyone says, oh, but the ending of Click is so great. It's not. It's like, sure, he's kind of acting here, and the family is doing their best, but there's nothing in the score or the cinematography or any of the actual directing that tells me a man is dying and his family is grieving him. Like, sure, that's what it says on the pages of the script, but from how I'm seeing it and hearing it, I'm not getting that at all. So besides that, I didn't laugh once. This movie is garbage. It is hot garbage. Sorry, Nick.
Nah.
In fairness, I went to bat for Little Nicky. So
No, you're good. Understood.
But with that, it comes back to me, and I'm going to bring up one that I just watched last night. For this, it's one of his. I think this might have been his first sort of live action sort of family movie he's ever done, and I'm going to be Tom Stories. Before he did have Hotel Transylvania, but I think this is the first live action sort of kids movie he's done that. But yeah, I mean, I love bedtime stories. This is one in which it was from premise alone. I still think there's more they could have done with it. But from what we got, it's enough and it's enjoyable. And I think Adam Sandler as father figure to kids, I think that sort of Sandler works a lot of the time. Especially a loving sort of a loving father sort of way, just because it shows that he does care for the kids and that yeah. But Chris, what do you say about bedtime stories?
I never actually saw it.
Nick, what do you say about bedtime stories?
I've seen it. And you want to talk about hot garbage? We're talking about bedtime stories. So y'all remember the movie Bridge to Terabithia? The trailer.
I hate that movie. Yeah.
I'm not a fan, but the trailer came out. It looked amazing. Look at this wide, wonderful world. So cool. I can't wait to see the movie. You see the movie. Oh, that is not what the movie's about. That is bedtime stories. The trailer, I was very excited for. I thought this was a movie about a guy who tells bedtime stories, and then the next day they become true. And that is kind of what the movie tries to do. You're right. There's a lot it could have done, Malcolm, but it just doesn't do it. And it's to the point where it's so boring. It's so kid-friendly that it becomes like it distances itself, I think, from like older viewers. And I don't think it's enjoyable at all. Again, didn't laugh once. Don't know what he was thinking. It better premise than an execution. I actually really, if you can't tell, dislike this movie.
But we've still got 2 spots left. Chris, it's back to you.
Well, I hope we can be a little more forgiving for this one, because I'm going to say Big Daddy. I've seen this movie probably 4 or 5 times in my life. Whenever it's on TV, back when I had cable, I would actually just sit down and watch 20, 30 minutes at a time. And I actually found a lot to laugh at. Like, there were some really, really great moments, especially some of the stuff involving Steve Buscemi as the bum. My God, he's great. The scene at McDonald's where they're just trying to get a cheeseburger, and it's, it's still too early for a cheeseburger. And it's like, God, remember when times were like that you couldn't, So this is a very nostalgic movie for me. And if it's voted down, I don't blame you, but I actually like it. I also like a lot of supporting cast: Leslie Mann, Jon Stewart. God, who else is in this movie again? I'm blanking off the top of my head.
Dylan and Cole Sprouse play the kid, but
yeah, of course. This was their big break before they went on to do Sweet Life and whatnot. But yeah, no, I just really have a soft spot for this movie, and yeah, I like it. Also, that for years I had that stupid kangaroo song that
don't start singing it.
I'm not gonna start singing it. Literally, I had stuck in my head for the longest time. I won't sing it because I don't want it in there again. But it was there for years.
Me?
Yeah, Nick, what do you say about that, Big Daddy?
I do not understand the hate for Big Daddy.
Thank you.
I don't get it. I think it's delightful. I really like the movie as well. Scuba Steve, damn you. There are very funny parts in this movie. And Malcolm, you talk about bedtime stories, showing him as an endearing father figure. This is the movie that shows Adam Sandler being an endearing father figure. Especially by the end, like, it has those scenes where you realize he really did care about the kid, and they had those adventures together. And it might not be the most memorable or the most quotable Adam Sandler movie, but it's certainly nowhere near the worst stuff we've mentioned. And I really do like the movie as well, Chris. So I will give Big Daddy a big thumbs up.
Yes, thank you.
Of course.
And for that, Big Daddy makes the list. For me, I enjoy it. It would have been one that I would have said no to, just because there's other stuff that I want to bring up and I want to get the chance to bring up that I would have done as a technical vote for me on my part. Hey, at this point, part of the list is when people start doing those kind of votes. But I mean, it made the list, so it's there. Nick, what is the next movie you're going to bring up?
Stuck between like 3, and we've only got 1 spot left, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm going to go for another remake in Mr. Deeds. Now, I have not seen the original, so I hope there's no comparison issues. Like, that's why people don't like it. I don't know. Didn't hate the movie. Again, a weird concept. But I think Adam Sandler plays a really great the whole point, from what I got the movie, the whole point of the character Longfellow Deeds is he is just this unequivocally good dude. like the purest of the pure. Like he'd be Captain America if that existed in that universe, because he's just selfless and a good person. And he gets hurt. I think every guy can relate to trying to be a good dude and being hurt by someone they like. There's some funny moments. There are some interesting performances. I cannot say too many great things about it, but hell, guys, we're at number 12 here. So, Mr. Deeds.
Mr. Deeds on the table. And yeah, this is another one that's in the middle of the pack for me. It's a good movie. I just don't think it's top 12. But yeah, Chris.
Well, okay, so Malcolm, I want you to know that I think you are a friend and I don't want to hurt you, but literally just so that way we don't run the risk of a grown-ups movie or Pixels or the abomination that shall not be named from 2011. This gets the yes from me. I love Mr. Deeds Goes to Washington. That's honestly one of the best movies of the 1930s. It's one of Jimmy Stewart's best performances. I've literally not a single damn bad thing to say about it. Mr. Deeds by no means even close as a remake, but yet it's still better than most Hollywood remakes. And I appreciate that that this version at least does try to still capture the idea of someone who is like almost fallibly good. And yeah, I have to respect that. And the fact that they chose Adam Sandler of all people to pull it off, and he pulls it off quite well, yeah, it gets my vote.
And with that, Mr. Deeds makes the list. And just for the record, we're nowhere close to me bringing up Grown Ups or Pixels anyway. So, which does mean our top 12 Adam Sandler movies that we're going to be ranking is Punch Drunk Love, Happy Gilmore, Funny People, 50 First Dates, The Wedding Singer, The Waterboy, Billy Madison, Longest Yard, Hotel Transylvania 2, Anger Management, Big Daddy, and Mr. Deeds. Now, how we do the ranking is we get our whiteboards and write down what we think should be at number 12. And yeah, and then the one for the most votes will be 12, obviously. But Chris, did you have any honorable mentions?
Outside the ones that I mentioned, Little Nicky, Reign Over Me, and Airheads. And of course the first Hotel Transylvania, which yeah, I really wish he would do more animation work, because I think that's where a lot of his manic personality could really shine, is with some solid 2D or 3D animation behind him. So
you wouldn't say no to 8 Crazy Nights 2 then?
I would actually, because frankly speaking, the Jewish community deserves better Hanukkah movies than 8 Crazy Nights.
But Nick, did you have any honorable mentions?
Yeah, I mean, don't hate me, but like, I don't hate the first Grown Ups. I won't touch the second Grown Ups with a 10-foot pole, but like, I don't hate the first Grown Up. Like, there's okay stuff in it. The movie I Now Pronounce You Chuck and Larry, don't hate it. It's not good. It's not even okay, but like, we were getting to the point where I was like, we are running out of stuff, and I'm gonna have to fight for I Now Pronounce You Chuck and Larry. So that's it.
And I was not going to touch Zohan with a 20-foot pole.
Not even close.
But yeah, for me, some of the ones that I would have brought up that didn't get around to it. This year's Murder Mystery, I actually think is pretty good. I don't think it's good as a comedy, but it does actually work as just a standard murder mystery movie. It's just super serious. It's one of those ones, like, it was billed as a comedy, but even though the comedy doesn't work.
Right.
And I'm not going to lie, I do enjoy That's My Boy, Just Go Off It, and Chuck and Larry. But I mean, they're not in my personal top 12, but anyway. Chris, what do you think should be number 12?
I think I'll have to go. If we're going just on my personal taste, I'm gonna say Billy Madison.
Nick.
Just because I haven't seen it, so if I need to like switch up my vote to one that I have seen that I think is bad, I said Hotel Transylvania 2, because I haven't seen it.
Which puts us in an interesting position because I put the Water Boy.
Oh, you guys, this is like my top 3.
But how we break up the ties is chat between the Water Boy, Billy Madison, and Hotel Transylvania 2. Which ones do you think should be number 12?
The chat breaks the tie. I think they're going to be on my side.
But
we shall just have to see.
Hopefully someone says something, otherwise we're going to have to do a reel.
Well, at least we got a wheel on standby then.
I'm getting one ready right now.
Perfect. Also, Nick, by the way, so I know I mentioned this yesterday, but I'm going to say this on camera. You are a lot taller in person than I picture you would be.
Yeah, dude, I'm sitting down right now. Everyone was a different height.
But
thank you.
Star Drew has spoken, and he said Hotel Transylvania 2.
Thank you. Sorry.
Now we write down what we want for 11.
I mean, got a feeling where this is going to go.
Which I've got a feeling we may end up having to have a tie break again. But Nick, what do you have for 11?
I said funny people.
I've still got the Water Boy.
I've also got the Water Boy.
Damn it. I was hoping you both would switch.
Oh, it's fine. I'm sure I'll get ganged up on here in just a moment. All right.
You're wrong, Colonel Sanders. Mom was right. That's from the Water Boy.
But I've got Billy Madison. Chris?
For number 10, I've got 50 First Dates.
Funny people.
All right, chat. Come on. Light it up.
50 First Dates, Funny People, or Billy Madison?
Come on, Peck. Come on, Brian. You should come through for me on this one. Oh, Star Drew. Come on. Yes. More people.
What they say?
Yep. Star Drew said 50 First Dates.
Oh!
But Movie Man 82 did say funny people.
Ooh. So revote, and we all vote for either 50 First Dates or funny people?
Or
I mean, if no one else says anything, then I will make the tie between Funny People and 50 First Dates, because clearly they're not going to say that Billy Madison belongs down here.
So Malcolm, you just break the tie?
I'm making up a reel that's no, actually, yeah, I think that works. And I'm just going to not say anything, and you'll find out once I finish writing out the banner.
No! Dang it.
yes.
But now we move on to 9.
All right.
Actually, I'm going to change my vote because
You know what? I think I'll change mine as well real fast.
Just because I realised that something else is still here that I actually forgot about. But Chris, what do you have for 9?
Billy Madison.
Nick.
Unfunny people.
Yeah, I changed mine from Billy Madison to Big Daddy.
Oh, Malcolm. Malcolm. Why?
People's not funny.
Why'd you do that, Malcolm?
Well, as I said, I'm not. I think Big Daddy is good, not great. But chat, we've got Big Daddy, Billy Madison, and funny people.
Oh, come on, Star Drew. What did I do to you?
But Star Drew says funny people.
Come on, movie man.
But I'll give it 5 more seconds to get something else in. But 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Funny people is going to be 9.
Ah.
Which movie man would have agreed anyway. So, but now we move on.
All right, fine.
But now we move on to 8. Nick, what do you have for 8?
A lot of these are actually kind of close at this point, but Mr. Deeds.
I've still got Big Daddy. Chris.
Billy Madison.
You guys are picking like movies in my top 5 right now.
Chat,
That one didn't my list.
So, chat, you Big Daddy, Mr. Deeds, or Billy Madison. What should be 8?
Mr. Deeds. Mr. Deeds.
Movie Man said Mr. Deeds.
I love the chat, man.
But I don't see anything else. So Mr. Deeds is going to be 8.
Come on.
Now we move on to 7. And just to recap what we've got left, we've got Punch Drunk Love, we've got Happy Gilmore, we've got The Wedding Singer, Billy Madison, The Longest Yards, and Anger Management left. And Big Daddy, of course. But my number 7 I've got is Big Daddy. Chris.
Anger Management.
Nick.
Anger Management.
All right, good. We're actually in sync for once.
There you go.
Are you going to start singing Bye 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 if you're in sync?
I don't have a voice, Malcolm. Otherwise, otherwise, I absolutely would. Because I think I'm gonna start a fight.
But now we move on to number 6. And I've still got Big Daddy. I'm just going to die in this hole. Chris, what do you have for 6?
I have The Longest Yard.
Nick.
I'll help you move on, Malcolm. Big Daddy.
Damn it.
A good run.
Sorry, Sonny Koufax. I was hoping to get you just one more spot.
Scuba Steve! Damn you!
All right.
Now we move into the top 5. And Chris.
This movie is ranked way too high for me. Billy Madison.
Nick.
Might be turning some heads here, but Punch Drunk Love.
Yep.
I read Happy Gilmore.
Oh, come on, chat. Don't let me down.
So chat, the tie is Happy Gilmore, Billy Madison, and Punch Drunk Love.
Come on.
What should be number 5?
It's time to tell that movie to shut up. That awkward moment when your garbage can you usually leave right here is now gone because you've been gone for 2 weeks and shit got moved around.
You just throw trash on the floor.
But
Okay.
Movie Man said Big Daddy. Billy Madison, rather. I don't know if Star Drew is questioning Punch Drunk Love.
I don't know what he's trying to say.
What do you say?
But I'm going to assume that he's just questioning it being nominated. So Billy Madison is going to be 5.
Dang, we've been friends this whole time, Star Drew. What are you doing?
Okay.
But now we reached number 4.
And we still have Happy Gilmore, Punch Drunk Love, Wedding Singer, and Longest Yard.
Yes.
Okay.
Come
on, Malcolm. Let's activate that sync power.
But Nick, what do you have? I've got Happy Gilmore.
I like it.
Damn it, I've got the Longest Yard.
So Happy Gilmore, Longest Yard, or Punch Drunk Love, chat.
Represent him. This doesn't represent Adam Sandler.
Come on, Longest Yard, people. I'm not asking for much. Boy, I cannot wait to hear the playback on this thing and just hear myself sound like absolute crap the entire time.
You've gotten better as we've gone on.
Yeah.
Do it.
A little bit. It is coming back, but
but I haven't seen anything, so
okay, I think they're both saying the Longest Yard.
Yes. So I can get
okay.
So we not.
Yep.
Sorry, I didn't see that it had updated on me.
Oh, that's fine. I got you, Malcolm. It's like in the old days. All right.
Oops, no. Not. I don't know what the hell that is. That's better. All right, top 3. It's between The Wedding Singer, Happy Gilmore, and Punch Drunk Love. But I've got Happy Gilmore for 3. Chris?
Yay.
No. Damn it. Oh, that is the number 1 choice, you people. You just got rid of.
And now, instead of voting for number 2, we're going to write down what we think should be the number 1 out of The Wedding Singer or Punch Drunk Love.
Neither of them, but
just make sure. Actually, Chris, what do you have for number one?
I have the correct answer, which is Punch Drunk Love.
Nick, what do you have for number one?
I wanna grow old with you. What is it?
I've got the wedding singer.
Yeah, all right.
I mean, I'm not mad because I genuinely love both these movies. So
I'll take it.
You know, I'll take it. I'll take it.
Yeah. I just had to quickly check my personal list to see which one was higher. So I didn't want to accidentally say that one was number one, but then realise I had the other one higher on my own list. So. But to recap our list, at number 12, we've got Hotel Transylvania 2. At 11, we've got The Waterboy. At 10, we've got 50 First Dates. At 9, we've got Funny People. At 8, we've got Mr. Deeds. At 7, we've got Anger Management. At 6, we've got Big Daddy. At 5, we've got Billy Madison. At 4, we've got Longest Yard. At 3, we've got Happy Gilmore. And 2, we've got Punch Drunk Love. And number 1 is The Wedding Singer.
Woohoo!
But overall, I think ultimately that's a pretty solid list of Adam Sandler. I mean, like as we alluded to at the start, he really doesn't have a lot of really good movies out there, but it's a few of his respectable ones, anyways. But I'll have another poll up shortly after this for next week's topic. And next week, there's a small indie movie called Star Wars coming out. So all the topics are going to be Star Wars related because I know if I put a Star Wars topic up against 4 other random ones, Star Wars is probably going to win anyway. But so I thought, and I also said earlier on, I said there was going to be a Star Wars list this month. It's what it's going to be. But so the poll will be up there shortly after this, so you can vote on that, and you'll find out tomorrow what wins the poll. But Chris, where can people find you online?
You guys can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, Stardust, Letterboxd, and Discord at Skywalker Dome. And you guys can follow Dedicated Art on Twitter and Instagram at D2A Channel. Please like our Facebook page, join our Facebook group to stay up with the conversation. Every Friday, I host the Who Cares Anyway podcast, where not this Friday, but next Friday, we are doing a ranking of the Star Wars movies where you guys sent me your lists, and we're going to compile them together. And we're going to see what does the fan league community say is the definitive Star Wars ranking.
But Movie Man and Star Drews have asked us if we've seen Bulletproof or The Cobbler. I've seen The Cobbler. I haven't seen Bulletproof, but I don't like The Cobbler. So.
I actually haven't seen either.
But Nick, where can people find you online?
Hello, my name's Nick. You can find me on Facebook at Nicholas Tuig. I'm on Instagram. I'm on Twitter. I say this every time at College Movie Man. Please give me a follow, even though I'm not very active on social media. You can find me in a lot of like the fan leagues that share the same community, Multiplex, Full Metal, all these things. I'm doing a ton of stuff. Just reach out and say hi. I love friends. Not the show. Well, the show's okay, but like people who are nice to me, friends.
And you can find me on Take 3, and next week it's going to be a guaranteed Star Wars topic. You can also find me doing the bracketeers every month on Take 3. The first of them at the start of the month, I do the videos announcing them. Then I just do the polls on the page. This week is this month is holiday movies, and you can vote on that. And January's topic for bracketeers is going to be Schmodown personalities. So it's going to be a lot of fun to see how that bracket shapes up. And if you want to help shape the bracket, send me your list of your top 30 Schmodown personalities, and it will help shape the bracket. It's going to look really interesting. And if you're wondering what I mean by personalities, it's not just competitors, but it's anyone who may not compete, but managers, announcers, backstage interviewers, which whoever is shown on screen at times, and this is of all time, so there's people who may not be shown up on screen much anymore, but yeah. And you can find me all around the fan leagues, and I host Full Metal Random every week, so look out for that. But until next week, keep listing shit as I end the broadcast.